guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today we heard a book haul for you. I have gotten a lot of books lately. I have some Christmas gifts, some from friends. I have books from publishers. I have books I bought, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get to it. The first book I have a bunch from some friends from BookTube. So the first one is Top Secret by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is from Lacey from Book Lovers for Life. She is one of my friends from Instagram, and she started her own BookTube channel, and we run the Ravished by Romance book club together. So this one Lacey got from the Ripped Bodice, which I think is really cool. I've read this. It's an New Adult Romance. I loved it, so I'm very happy to have it in paperback now. Okay, sorry if the angle changed. I literally sat down and my battery was dying, so I just had to recharge it. But the next book that I got was actually a giveaway that I won on Colleen Hoover's Instagram. She does a million giveaways, and I entered her like book stack giveaway, so I posted a picture of a stack of books and I won a free book from her. So I picked Maybe Now. This one is the sequel to Maybe Someday, which is one of my favorites by her, so very excited to read this, and it came signed, so I'm very happy. Then Riley from Riley Marie sent me one of her favorite reads this year, and I'm so excited to have this finally, and that is Lesson in Thorns by Sierra Simone. This one, I don't know really anything about it. I know there's a polyamorous relationship and there's like a secret happening, and it's like rich people. I have no idea, but I know everybody loved this book. They have issues with book 2, but I'm very excited to have this and read this hopefully very soon. So thank you, Riley, so much for the gift. Then Chandler from Chandler Ainsley also sent me a very highly anticipated book of mine, and that is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. I'm hoping to actually read this week, so hopefully I've already read it by the time this video goes up. We'll see. This is an werewolf romance. It's all I know about it. I know that Chandler loves this and Lacey also loves this, so I really, really cannot wait to read this, and I'm so happy I own it. Then Shelby from Shelby Taggart Reads gifted me The Controversial Princess by Jodi Ellen Malpass. I actually found book 2 at Half Price Books, so I bought it because it sounds so good. I just know it's a royalty romance. I think she's like supposed to marry someone she doesn't want to, and then she falls for an American actor, so it sounds so good, and I'm very happy to have this book as well. Then Sarah, one of my best friends, sent me War of Hearts by Samantha Young. This is a werewolf romance, and again, I don't know the plot. I really hate knowing detailed plots of books because I really like going in blind, but I was gonna buy this from Samantha Young when I met her at a signing in September, and I was literally like third in line at her table, and she sold all of her copies before the doors opened to other authors and their assistants. So I was not in a good mood when that signing started. I was very angry, but Sarah saved me and bought this for me, and I'm so excited. I love paranormal romances, and I cannot wait to read it. And then Melissa from Melissa H got me this Tilly Cole book. I'm not going to say the title. I am an English teacher of high schoolers, so some of them do watch my channel, but this is a very dark romance, and my coworkers follow my Instagram, and they're like, what is that book that you posted on your Instagram? And I'm like, it's a dark romance by one of my favorite authors, so it's fine, but I know Melissa loved this book. I love Tilly Cole. I love dark romance, so I hope I really enjoy this. Kind of seems terrifying. It just says TikTok, and like it's got a watch, and they're like reaching for each other. I don't know anything else about the plot, and I really don't want to know. I love going into her books blind especially, so I'm super excited to have this. Those are all the gifts I received. So the next one I actually got 2 copies of from the publisher, so I'm probably going to give one away, and that is Of Curses and Kisses by Sandia Manon. This one takes place at a boarding school, and it is a contemporary spin on Beauty and the Beast. So those 2 details make me very excited for this book, and I did enjoy, I think I've read one other book by her in that other series she wrote, so I'm excited for something new from her, and I do have 2 copies of this arc now, so watch out on my social medias for a giveaway, probably somewhere on Instagram, so check that out down below. Then I went to Half Price Books and picked up 2 mass market paperbacks. I got My Time Swept Heart, which is a historical time traveling romance, and then I got Claiming the Highlander, which is a Highland romance. And I don't know anything about these other than that, but they were calling to my historical heart, and I love Scottish romances, and I love time traveling romances, so they looked good. This one was only $2, and this one had super high ratings, and it's I think the first in a series, so I really want to read it, and it's got that gorgeous back cover, and I'm excited. Then the next 3 are all Book of the Month picks that I got. I didn't realize that even though if you have credits for Book of the Month and it tells you it's $0, they still charge you $15 every month. So I have a lot of credits from people who have been using my link, and that doesn't mean I get the month free. That just means I get additional books for free, which I think is weird because when I like add books to my cart, it literally says $0. but I guess I'm paying for a credit every month to be subscribed. So now I've been getting 3 books every month because I need to use up those credits and make it worth it. So yeah, if you ever want, my link's down below. You get your first month free. So I get a month free if you get a month free, but that means I just get an extra book for free. But the first one I picked was The Wives. This comes out actually the end of this month, so that's really cool. The book of the month does that. This is by Taryn Fisher. I've already read this and I really loved it. It is a kind of psychological thriller about a woman who's the third wife of a man, and her name is Thursday. So she only gets her husband on Thursdays, and it's very twisted. The ending shocked me. So really happy that I have this now. I also am making it a goal in 2020 to read at least 1 thriller a month, so I got The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. I feel like this was the one that took place at that camp, and they all died but this one girl, or one girl died and now they're back. I don't know. I really liked Final Girls, so I want to read more of Riley Sager. I also got Lock Every Door last month, so I want to read more of this author. And then the last book I picked up, and then literally I think the next day I watched Chelsea's video about how she didn't like this book, and that's Circe by Madeline Miller. I don't know anything about mythology, and that's why Chelsea said she didn't enjoy it, because she didn't know mythology. I would love to know more about mythology, but I just never really learned a lot growing up, and then I never went out and learned it myself. But I've heard amazing things about this book, so if you've read it, let me know if you enjoyed it or not, or if I need to know more about mythology to understand this. But I don't really know a lot about it. I just know that everybody loved it, so I have it. The next book I got from the Unplugged book box, and that is Queen of the Conquered by Kaysen Callender. This one is the first in a duology, and it's set in a Caribbean setting, and our main character is like conquered by these people who come and colonize their land, and the king is gonna like choose who gets to rule next. So she's gonna give revenge, and that's all I know, but it sounds pretty good. And the cover's cool, so I have this now. The next one I was sent from the author, and I don't know how I was sent this. I don't remember asking for it, and that is Vampire Mistress by Joey W. Hill. A lot of people were talking about this series and how it's long, and they've heard of it. I haven't. It's BDSM paranormal. So our main character is a vampire hunter, and then his brother ends up being the servant of a vampire queen and turning into a vampire, and he comes across a nightclub owner. And it's that romance. It just showed up in my mail, so we'll see if I read it. Then Berkeley Romance saw my 2020 anticipated releases video and sent me an arc of Heart of Blood and Ashes by Milla Vane. I don't know if there's dragons. It says a Gathering of Dragons series, but it sounds more like a fantasy Viking story. They're like barbarians. I don't know how to explain this because the back's a little confusing. I'm really bad at picking up what fantasy books are about by just reading the synopsis, so I just know it's like really long and chunky and looks amazing. So I cannot wait to read this. It comes out in February. I'm going to read it in January. Then at Half Price Books, I actually found a copy of The Wrong Game by Candy Steiner. This is one of the few I don't own by her, so I'm very excited to have found it. It is a romance where this woman was married and then her husband dies, and so she has these season football tickets and decides, of course she's like devastated, but she decides to take a new date to each football game. It's quite a time after her husband's passed, and find someone new for her life, and she ends up finding a bartender while she's telling this plan to her friend, and it's kind of something that they connect over. So it's very adorable, very fun, very cute, and I'm excited that I have the paperback now. Then I saw someone post about this on Instagram and had no idea it existed, and that's Conclave by Penelope Douglas. It's a pretty short novella. It's 85 pages, and it's book 3.5 in the Devil's Night series. It connects Kill Switch to Nightfall, which is going to be book 4, so I had to buy this. It was like $7, so I had to have it for my collection. The next book, it sounds so fun. So Avon sent me 2 of their historical romances of arcs, and the first one is Lord Holt Takes a Bride by Vivian Lorette, and our main character is, her parents want to marry her off to someone, and she doesn't want to, but she wants to learn about marriage first, so her friends kidnap someone for her to research on. So it sounds really fun, really quirky, and I really love this cover, and I'm so excited to have some historical romances to read for 2020, so cannot wait to read this. The next one they sent is Engaged to the Earl by Lisa Byrne, and this one I don't know if they like had something in the past, but this woman's engaged and she thinks she's engaged to just like the perfect man, and then this guy from her past shows up, and he had left to go on an adventure and is back, and he's like, oh, I really like her now, and she's like, oh, he's super attractive now, but she thinks she's engaged to the perfect guy, so she doesn't know what to do, and it sounds really fun. I don't know if they like knew each other in the past or not, but Again, I'm very excited for a new historical romance. The next one I was sent from the author, and that is Audition by Skye Warren. This sounds really good and I'm very excited to read it. It is about a dancer, and she, in order to like become the elite dancer she is, she had to take a debt from someone, and I think he's back and wants her to pay him back, and I don't know if it's like romance ensues or something, but the back's very vague. But if it's dancing, I love books that have to do with like dancers, so hopefully I can read this soon, and I'm very excited the author sent this my way. The next book I bought was Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. This is book 1 in her Hoops series. I don't remember what the series is called. They're so good. I remember loving this. Our main character is a basketball player, and he sees a girl in a bar, and they really hit it off, and then it turns out that she is actually dating one of his like enemy basketball players. So yeah, that can't happen, but they actually have such intense chemistry, and it's their relationship. So I really love this. I love Kennedy Ryan, so I'm happy to add this to my collection. The next one I got is because I'm seeing, I think, both of these authors in 2020, and that is Love Sincerely Yours by Sarah Nye and Megan Quinn. This one is, I think, just an office romance. I was trying to figure out the back, and it's like a letter from her to him, and he's just like the insufferable boss, and that's all I know, but I'm excited to read this. I think I've read Megan Quinn before. I don't remember if I've read a book by her before, but I like Sarah Nye, so I'm excited to read this. Then I was so excited. Berkeley sent me an arc of Who Rescued Who by Victoria Shade. This comes out, I think, in March, and this one is about a woman who decides to go to England because she needs to collect an estate that her father had left her, I think, like, and she wasn't really close to him, and she ends up finding a puppy and rescuing that puppy, and she is getting close with her aunt and uncle, who she has never known before, and ends up falling in love while in London. It sounds so cute. It's London, it has puppies, like, can we say a book is more me? I'm so excited to read this book. Then I found a copy of Half Truths by Claire Contreras at Half Price Books, and this one just came out this year, so I'm very excited I found it. It was only $7.50, and this one, I don't know anything about it other than that it has a mystery. I feel like it's like a suspenseful book. I think there's like a secret society and they're invited, but they're new money. I don't know. There's a lot of secret society books out there, but I am excited to have this. Then I have a book with another dog on the cover, and that is Almost Just Friends by Jill Shalvis. Look at that cute pup. This is sent to me from William and Morrow, and this one is about a woman who ended up having to raise her siblings, basically, and they're finally grown up and out of the house, and she is fixing up, I think, their house and the lake house, and a massive storm hits and she meets a stranger, and then her siblings come back for some reason, and she has a romance with that stranger. So sounds really fun, very sweet, and I'm very excited to read this. Then I was sent a thriller from Harper, and that is Grace is Gone by Emily Elgar. This is about a woman who takes care of her ill daughter, and everybody knows them, but Grace is the daughter, and she's always just so happy even though she's sick. And then the woman ends up like brutally murdered and the daughter's missing, and so it's a journalist who is trying to uncover what happened. So definitely sounds intriguing. Then I do a book exchange with my coworkers at work. We all bring a wrapped book, and it's kind of like White Elephant style, and the book I got this year is The Lying Game by Ruth Ware. I actually got #1, which means I got to go first, and then I also got to pick last. So I stole this from someone at the end because I really want to read it. I have no idea what it's about though, but I love Ruth Ware. I did read The Turn of the Key, which I really enjoyed. I was a little disappointed at the ending, but like overall it was a pretty good thriller. So I just know this is more of a psychological thriller, and a bunch of other coworkers have read this, so I'm very excited to have the chance to read this. Then Berkeley sent me a finished copy of Gabriel's Promise by Sylvain Renard. This is book 4 that's coming out. I have not read the series yet, but I know the first book is a student-professor romance, so I'm very excited to read this series and figure out what the hype is about. Hopefully I enjoy it. I know Melissa from Melissa H recently read book 1 and didn't like it, so hopefully it stands the test of time and I enjoy it. And the last book I was sent is from Simon & Schuster, and I'm so excited for this book, and that is Watch Over Me by Mila Gray. I loved books 1 and 2 in the series. I haven't read book 3, but this one is about a girl who is running from an abusive father, and she's with, I think, her mother and her sister possibly, and she meets this guy in the Coast Guard, and he is her brother's best friend and is helping them and watching over them, and then I think her father is released from jail and is coming after them. So definitely very serious and emotional, but she always has military main characters, at least books 1 and 2 did. I love books 1 and 2 so much, so I'm so looking forward to reading this book. And that is my book haul. Let me know down below what you have gotten recently and what you're excited for me to read. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.